Time works differently in heaven, which means that so too do memories of heaven, at least when you're here on Earth. Feelings, thoughts, decisions, laughter, sadness, coming into being, ceasing to be. All of that is pressed down into a single, impossibly dense, impossibly bright point, shining in your mind like the sun. When you look at it, Darby, it's disorienting and overwhelming. That's why your memories of Maeve are simultaneously intense and elusive. But when you focus and not turn away from the sun, you can see. Soaring above the endless fields, your flaming swords swirling through darkness in concert. Laughter. You saving Maeve. Maeve saving you. You, Maeve, and Declan having literally endless debates about mortality and morality. The concept of banishment. The decision to try to learn more. The carelessness. The certainty of the mistake. That's when you turn away. Today is the day, Darby. Specifically, tonight is the night. The Dollar, we'll call her what she is, a crime boss, specializing in thieving and fencing of goods, and also known to at least Mindy Mathers as Zoe Zlobs' older sister, has let you know, Darby, that you need to be at Chestnut Hill University tonight. Mm-hmm. She let you know this in the morning. So you have all day to prepare as best as you can. Zlobs, Morgan, and Mindy, some combination of the three of them, ask what you're up to today. Because apparently they have plans. Darby, what do you tell them?
I tell them that I'm giving myself flying lessons. That I want to learn some more skills.
Oh, I'm really proud of you for pursuing self-improvement.
Yeah,
We all can learn
it's something I need to do for myself.
Indeed. Zlobs, Morgan, and Mindy, your plans for the day into the evening, if you want, are as follows. Vespa Blatmasters is not doing well. She reached out to you, Zlobs, in the morning, and essentially just asked for a normal day. And so you've gathered Morgan and Mindy and would-be Darby, but Darby is busy, to give Vespa a normal day, whatever that is.
Yeah, I can tell you what that is.
What is it?
It's called Blazer Tag.
Blazer Tag.
The most
and where
intense game in the entire Boston area. They have an entire arena underneath the Boston Common.
Oh my goodness.
There are a couple of things that make it so interesting. The chat is going to provide us with a couple, and also I will tell a couple as well. Under the Boston Common, in addition to the Blazer Tag Arena, is a full parking garage, which is part of the play area.
Yes.
So, when you're down there, there are whole segments of the underground where you're sneaking around and there are ruins and all kinds of stuff. But then also there are like 500 cars that are just coming and going and parking. So, so that's how the day is going to start, is the three of you plus Vespa meets in the Boston Common. Did you tell Vespa what you're doing today, or just where to meet?
Just where to meet.
Gotcha.
She might have guessed.
I had to ask and pull in some favors because every time we have been to Blazer Tag, we take it way too seriously.
Yes, this is one of the rare places where it's not just Zlobs that is banned, but all three of you.
Yeah. Okay.
All four of us get banned.
Related to this, can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
Our last episode was Day of Kindness.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask if it's been at least a full sleep? Have we rested? Have we what you might call long rested since the Day of Kindness?
Yes.
Okay. Excellent.
Can we
Is
clear harm
Mindy
in hand?
dying?
Am I dying from a cheese double
good
attack
heavens. Yeah.
at this moment?
Yeah, let's deal with that.
Okay.
So, Mindy,
Have I recovered nicely?
well, so you come home from the Day of Kindness.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you didn't go to the hospital is, in hindsight, maybe not the best idea, but your just instinct is like, well, school's done, I should go home.
Yeah.
And so you go home. Nana Mathers is like in her chair in the living room, and she sees you. And one thing about Nana Mathers is that you've never seen her concerned in a way that you have seen other parents or grandparents. Like, you're walking in with probably fractured ribs, contusions, bruises, lacerations. And if you walked into a parent or grandparent's house, 9 times out of 10, they would audibly gasp or scream or say, oh my goodness, and take you to the hospital. But the inimitable Clarissa Mathers looks at you and, folds her newspaper neatly. And the two of you just walk into her lab in the house. So why don't you give me a 2d6 plus sharp? A failure is going to heal 1. A partial success will get you back to stable, and a full success will fully heal you.
Wow. So this isn't like a sleep it off kind of, this tussle with the cheese devil has lasting damage.
You fought a super angry 30-pound wheel of cheese.
What was I thinking? All right. Okay. Well, plus sharp, right? That's a pretty good plus. So that's going to be a partial success. That'll be
Alrighty.
That's not so bad.
So
I'm stable at least.
You're stable. So get back down to 3 harm.
Okay. Have my harm healed. Not at my best.
No, you there's you're covered in various like unguents and like various like balms to like heal the lacerations. But the issue is Nana Mathers is guessing like 1, maybe 2 of your ribs are fractured, which means that just like breathing hurts.
Yeah.
Like, and there's nothing. Yeah. So, you are given essentially like a compression shirt, and like your midsection's all kind of like taped up, but it still just hurts. Mm-hmm. But yes, that's gonna be a few days before kind of the bones start to knit again.
Well, laser tag sounds like a fun activity then.
Yeah.
Just don't get hit.
Yeah, that's really what it is.
The laser.
That laser packs a punch.
So, sure enough, all of you are on the common. Zlobs, Morgan, a bruised but on her feet Mindy Mathers, and sure enough, Vespa eventually arrives, getting off the getting off the tee and coming above ground. You could tell based on what she's wearing, particularly her footwear, that she had a feeling it might be blazer tag related. So she looks at all of you.
When we get there, I throw like a little, like each I want a little band of like red, and it's the Harvard Crimson to match the Cambridge Carnations.
You do.
Vespa's team.
Mm-hmm. Vespa, she's wearing an old Carnations baseball hat, like frayed around the brim, so you see like the brim under the fabric and all of that. She normally wears a hat when outside, hides the scars from where she had the helmet attached so many years ago. They never fully healed.
Oof.
So yeah, she looks at you, Zlobs, with kind of a quiet appreciation before saying hello to everybody. I'm glad you were all free today. This is nice.
Oh, it's gonna
Yeah.
be fun. And it's gonna be more fun when we win.
Yeah, I
Excited to
hope
be-
you
are-
brought your A game, Vespa. Vespa.
Yeah, I need you to be serious and be on the ball today.
Yeah, because we're gonna play rough.
It's a cloudless sky, but it's as if like a wispy cloud passes in front of the sun for 1 second, like her face darkens before like brightening back up again. The A game's the only one I got.
Not if you're playing like you did in the Carnations.
Right, let's get it, man. Yeah, it's to see Vespa in this light's kind of interesting. Morgan, give me a 2d6 plus sharp.
All right, I get to use my new dice.
Oh, nice.
Why Morgan? Because she's the only one with social skills?
Wow.
Well, that's a 6.
All right.
Okay.
I spoke too
Yeah.
soon.
You're trying to just get a read on Vespa, because you're like, Morgan, for you're just kind of like laying out like Vespa's Zlobs' friend, but before that she was missing, and before that she was your active enemy, and so you're just like trying to read her is a challenge for you, and trying to kind of engage with her is a challenge just because she's kind of an aberration in your social network in that she doesn't really have connections to other people. Like, you're constantly, Morgan, like everyone you know the 5 closest people to them. Like, you know their vibe, you know what they're up to. You just naturally have this Rolodex of who people are and what they're doing and what they're about and who are their friends and who are their enemies and things they like and things they don't. And like, it's why you're kind of a natural politician, frankly. But Vespa, there is not a grand lattice that you can crawl over and understand. Vespa Blatmasters is an island.
Yeah. It feels like every time I try to make an effort to be like funny or to try to make a connection or any of that, it always goes a little bit differently than I expect. Almost like the balls are always slightly to the left.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like, she was so competitive a few years ago. And so like you're making a joke about that and she's just like, ugh, like something about that, like, she's drawing in, but then you'll say some relatively banal thing and she'll light right up. And it's not just like friend of a friend syndrome. It's also, there's just an inscrutability to her. All right, let's switch. Darby, here's what you are told. You are given an address right off campus. that you have to be at specifically for some time in the evening. Essentially sunset, after sunset. You are told that you will be carrying, you will be required to carry a light person, who will know what to do once you are at Cruciform Hall.
Okay.
That said, you've never been to Chestnut Hill University. And, sunset is 6 hours from now or however long. So what do you want to do in the interim? How do you want to prep? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do?
I wasn't totally lying earlier. I actually do just want to go for a really long fly.
Yeah.
Just to kind of clear my head. And I'm not bringing anything special with me, just what I normally have. So I'm going to go out past actually even where Chestnut Hill University is, a little further west even, where there's a little bit of windy weather. So I can just spend a couple of hours riding the waves.
Yeah, that sounds good. You get out really past Watertown. Like you're kind of flying kind of the arc, like kind of this big north-south loop of several miles from above Chestnut Hill University through Watertown up to like the big cemetery. And it is, it's a blustery day. Things you see while in the air. Let's see. You see, let's see.
I definitely fly over the Chestnut Hill Mall at some point.
You do. The Chestnut Hill Mall, we'll talk about that. So the Chestnut Hill Mall is really interesting because it's been fully rebuilt magically, miraculously. And what's funny is that the recreation or rebuilding of the mall is kind of strange because apparently nothing about it can change. So what they did, that you've noticed, is you're flying above the mall and they've built kind of an addition to the mall to add more stores in, but it's not actually attached. Like you have to walk outside for like a foot and then walk into the other mall.
Yeah.
It's busy. Like people are bundled up. There's a Blittle League field on the roof of the mall. And you see people practicing and having a good time. That was there. That was always the Newton Narcissus practice field because their actual field is in the mall itself. So you see people practicing on the roof. Everything just looks very blessedly normal out in the world. This is a winter wind. It's cold on your face. And you kind of let your mind go and let your mind wander, steadying yourself for the night. It's getting closer to time. Is there anything else you want to do today?
Well, I will stop in the mall real quick just to go to the food court.
Sure. So sure enough, you go to the food court. You land. You walk into the mall itself, and the food court is, sprawling, and there's a Little League field in the middle of it, and food stalls all along the end, and because there's not a game in session, there are tables everywhere. And yeah, why don't you give me 2d6 plus sharp?
So that's an 8.
Gotcha. Partial success. What do you see? Yeah, the coach for the Newton Narcissus, Magenta Julius, who's been the coach for at least 10 years, is there. Magenta's job when not coaching is managing the actual food court. So Magenta's there, sees you and recognizes you. Did you get something to eat?
I did. There's a popcorn stand where you can just put anything you want on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's going to be my dinner.
Yeah.
Just popcorn with a bunch of candy on it.
Yeah.
And it's big.
It is. Yeah, you order the infinite, which is unlimited popcorn, unlimited toppings. And so you sit down, and Magenta Julius, who's like cleaning off a nearby table, kind of does a bit of a double take. Darby O'Darcy, Somerville Sunflowers.
That's right. Good to see you, Coach.
Yeah,
Popcorn
good to
is
see you.
very good.
All part of a balanced breakfast. Glad you're enjoying.
Well, thanks for making it happen.
Mm-hmm. So what are
I
you
came
doing
out
in
here
Newton
just for
today?
this. Oh, for the infinite. Do you ever just get a craving?
Sort of, but I'm always able to satisfy it within 30 seconds, given in Magenta points to the 25 different places to get something to eat in here.
Yeah. You're living the life, aren't you?
I think so.
2 best jobs in the world. Never having to have a craving you can't satisfy.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. So you came all this way just for popcorn?
I did. It was a good day up in the air. So I figured, I think I'm going to make my way out to the mall. And here I am. Nothing else to it. Just a bunch of popcorn.
Sounds pretty good to me. 2d6 plus charm, please.
Oh, good. Good. That'll be a 5.
Magenta Julius kind of thinks for a second, nods, and then hands you a 2-for-1 coupon for a slushy drink at Slushy Drink, which is a place you go to get slushy drinks. Well, hope to see you soon. And then Magenta goes about their business. Yeah, so girded with some time in the sky, girded with a stomach full of popcorn, and you eventually head out. As you leave, Magenta Julius, walks through, takes off the apron, walks through not the employee entrance, but the Blittle League entrance to Narcissus Command, which is kind of the headquarters dugout, and pops their head into the players' locker room. You two stay alive. We may have something today. No. All right. T-minus 1 hour. What do you do?
Well, I'm going to start walking because I'm walking the rest of the way there so that I'm not quite as obvious up in the sky. I've been up there all day, but I'm not going to fly all the way to the meeting point. And so I'm going to try to just keep my eye open the whole walk, kind of try to get a sense of the lay of the land, where people could be hiding, especially as I get closer. Yeah.
All right. Give me a 2d6 plus sharp. This is going to be read a bad situation, though you're not technically in one now.
That's a 12.
Okay. Yeah, I'll read you the whole thing. You're, being a scholar of the human condition, as you are, you're hyper observant. You walk kind of the couple miles from the mall to the university through like the beautiful side streets and all the beautiful mansions. And you get to Chestnut Hill University and you kind of walk through it kind of along the outside. Chestnut Hill University. It is a religious college with a focus on defense of the mortal realm from extraplanar entities through shared faith. So essentially, it's college like Harvard and all the other colleges, but kind of their focus is on kind of the power of shared faith to tackle things and kind of combat things. In RPG terms, it bangs out clerics and paladins. That's what happens. Chestnut Hill University is where clerics and paladins come from in New England. Ironically, there is a not insubstantial demon population in the student body. The thing that you are made aware of, and I'll tell this is kind of everything, it is a college, not a fortress. So with a 12, I can tell you that aside from like Chestnut Hill University, like police, there's nothing else that you can kind of see. Like the place isn't locked down. You can walk in and out. You can go to the cafeteria. You could do all of those things. People are playing catch. They're reading in the quad. The dollar obviously let you know that Cruciform Hall is defended by glamour. But you don't actually know what that means until you're on campus. And you see it. It's this gorgeous building. This big, tall spires made of this like sandy stone, stained glass. This whole thing is it's eye-catching. And even by looking at it, you are aware that it is heavily glamored. You don't know necessarily what that means until you get really close to it. But the fact that you already are aware that that building is glamored means you know it's not working on you. Because you wouldn't otherwise know. It would just be some really beautiful building. So, yeah, you kind of get a vibe. But, yeah, what you know for sure is that there don't appear to be any kind of meaningful defenses that you would need to bypass outside of Cruciform Hall.
Okay.
That said, you can also, in addition, ask one question from the Read a Bad Situation list, or any question at all that has to do with a tactical assessment.
Let's see. How can I best protect people? I don't know who those people are yet, or that person is yet, but...
So the sense you get is that the person that you are meant to protect / escort knows what they're doing. So really it's about being on call. That is to say, like, if the person says, meet me here, you got to meet them there. If the person says, hold this bag, you got to hold that bag. And so... yeah, it's really about being on the same page and kind of trusting that whatever this person is doing is right.
They're my team today.
They are your team today.
Got it.
Yeah. Let's talk about your team. He is currently on campus in Cruciform Hall on the first floor, walking down the hallways, dealing with students running around with backpacks, having office hours, going to class. He looks up at the kind of central pavilion of Cruciform Hall, which houses an absolutely gorgeous statue, 8-foot-tall marble statue of the angel Michael, standing upon the head of some disfigured beast, made of marble, holding a bronze sword aloft, really imposing.
Been there.
He takes a picture, looks at it. Oh, that's pretty good. And yeah, you get to the designated spot. Off campus, and the sun is getting low and eventually sneaks down in between a couple of mansions off of Commonwealth Avenue. And yeah, your teammate arrives. It's Fletcher. Let's switch. Okay. Blazer tag.
The blazer tag.
Nice.
Get in the game and shoot your friends. Blazer tag.
The blazer tag.
I love that commercial so much.
Yeah, it's an assault on the senses.
Sometimes Zlobs like quotes it in his sleep on a long car ride or something.
Yeah, like sometimes the AI takes the wheel and Zlobs is just stone cold asleep, just like blah, blah, blazer tag.
Yeah, exactly.
Shoot your friends, and we're like,
It's fun.
So it certainly is. So yeah, you the four of you get in, and through kind of a kind of cajoling, you are all kept on one team. So it's going to be this big team versus team thing where the three of you plus Vespa are on one team. A couple other things that are going on is that as is often the case, it is couples day today. So a bunch of couples have shown up and they are put on opposite teams.
Do we know any of them? Do we know any of the couples?
Yeah, you do.
Find a couple. Find a couple.
All right. Who do we got?
I love making John go to the cash sheet.
I think I have somebody in mind. Francine Clock, the mother of Eleanor Clock, has taken a date here.
Oh no.
Mindy, roll 2d6. Evens, she's on your team. Odds, she's on the other team.
It's odds.
She's on the other team. Yeah, there are a couple of folks from the high school that you don't know, as one would expect. And Inbound is on the other team as well.
He's good to see Inbound.
Yeah, and Inbound is happy to see you, sort of. Like, all of you are in this big, like, briefing room. It's this big, like, vaulted ceiling, all, like, unnecessary laser noises and, like, lightning painted on the ceiling and smoke machines, like, belching that weird, gross, fake smoke smell into the air. And yeah, sure enough, Inbound comes up to all of you, gives all of you like a very perfunctory greeting, and then kind of looks at Vespa Blatmasters. And Inbound, by the fact that his brain is a supercomputer, is one of the smarter people you know, but it still takes Inbound like a good eighth of a second to figure out something to say to Vespa. Ah, Vespa Blatmasters. You are looking well. Well, looks like you're on Alpha Team. So this is the last time that I will say any words of kindness to you.
For the next hour to two, we are no longer friends, but mortal enemies. Watch your back, Inbound.
Yeah, you do the same.
Inbound.
It is important to know that I can always watch my back. And Inbound's head spins around several times, revealing various ancillary sensor units.
When his
Good luck doing the same, meatbag.
when his head spins around after he says it, it says, "Yeah, you watch your back getting blah 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 lasered."
Ooh.
Oh.
Inbound has his own laser tag sensors built in, so all of you are like putting on vests, and for him, just like tiny little ports are opening up. They're legal and regulation.
Wow.
Inbound loves laser tag. So yeah, Inbound kind of trots out. Inbound's a relatively small kind of robot, but like, you know, kind of doors open up in his legs. He kind of grows like 4 inches. Is now moving faster.
See you later, Inbound. Eat a worm.
I will eat every worm.
Wait, is Inbound insinuating that we're the worms? Oh, it's a good one.
Yeah, Vespa is, you know, like putting eye black on and like looking at the blazer gun. Yeah, I reckon he did.
I just want to point out that on the point buy, because it's a point buy system, I put all mine into blazer grenades.
Yep. Yeah, you don't have a gun, just a bunch of blazer grenades hanging in overlapping bandoliers.
I put all of my point buy into Intel.
Yep. You have this blazer tag.
And a big blazer knife.
Yeah, you do have a blazer knife.
The blazer knife is actually, people think that it's underpowered because you need to be right next to someone to touch them with the laser knife. But what is really effective about it, and what people don't realize, and the reason they underestimate the blazer knife, is that it can actually deflect the lasers.
If you do it just right.
So if you've got good aim, you can actually deflect laser shots with the knife back at people. A lot of people don't think of that.
And yeah, this is
honestly a broken weapon.
It is. It is S tier in the current meta. You hope they don't nerf it. It's just so good.
Yeah.
I put 50% of mine in assault, which is just your most basic, and the other 50% in throwable shields.
Yep. So you have like 3 of them to use. Yeah, they're essentially like super cheap umbrellas. That's what they look like. They're all like really tiny and like crinkled up and with like a little Velcro strap around them. The second they hit the ground, they get real big. And they just like crackle with like blazer energy, and so all of you are like, all of you are like checking your stuff. You know, like the sound of like things clicking and locking and crunching as you're all getting ready. You look across the shared locker room at Francine Clock, who is kind of making vaguely. You think it's flirty. You don't know what adult flirtiness looks like, but she's like making like winky eye contact at a, you know, smiling middle-aged man that's on your team who is doing the same back.
Oh, weird. I'll read her mind.
Fair. All right, 2d6 plus weird, please.
Just real quick, I want to see what she's thinking. 9.
9, partial success. So you could ask, let's see. Okay, I'll give you 2 options. One, reading her mind will give you enough insight into the other team that when the time comes to see who wins, you will get a +1 to the roll.
Ooh.
Or you could learn about how she feels about her date, or you could get a secret about Eleanor.
Oh, secret about Eleanor. That's exactly what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
What's Eleanor up to on team? What's the team's name again?
Alpha. No, whatever their team is.
Phoenix?
You don't know.
Oh, that's true. I don't know. Never mind all that.
So so what you read is essentially Francine Clock having this train of thought. Oh, Kestrel's here. She should have told me. Is that Kestrel? That's not Kestrel. I am so glad that Eleanor has a friend like Kestrel. I wonder what they're up to today. She said that she'd be with them all day, but that makes sense that she wouldn't be here, because if so, then my daughter would be here. Ah, that's weird. All right, time to play.
Oh my
matters?
god.
Did she eat one of Zlobs' warheads again?
No.
Do you want to?
No. Oh god. Somebody here just thought I was my sister.
Oh.
And not only that,
Ugh.
she likes your sister. She thinks your sister is a great influence on her daughter.
Well, she doesn't know my sister like I do. Well, she doesn't know things about my sister that I do. That's what I mean.
Yes.
We haven't. Anyways, it's not a compliment to me.
No. And so that's kind of noodling around in your head. And sure enough, like the shared locker room is divided with an incredibly dramatic, like floating partition that comes down from the sky, separating it into two rooms. And then you hear like the very like overly dramatic super baritone. It is the future. War is fought only with blazers. And like it goes through the whole canned speech that Zlobs could recite verbatim.
He is speaking along to it.
What's it sound like?
It's Blazer Jack. The future is dead, so why not Blazer? Everything, because everything you love is dead and has become Blazer.
I love that part has become Blazer.
And sure enough, boom, doors open and you sprint out into the playfield. Switchback.
Fletcher.
Hello. I believe you're my transportation.
I believe I am. I'm going to be honest. You are not who I expected.
Oh, who did you expect?
I didn't really know who, but I thought it'd probably be some sort of demon or something.
Oh, I assume that I am here because I can see through glamour. I'm technically not alive.
Oh, that's so I didn't kill you or one of your counterparts?
Oh, you definitely did, yeah.
Was that you, or was it a different Fletcher?
No, that was someone else. However, it's me in that I received a copy of his recordings up to about 1/115th of a second before his demise.
Wow.
So now I know what it's like to have my jaw torn off.
I am very sorry about that. And also, you're welcome, because it would have gotten worse, to be honest. So something had to be done.
I see. Okay. Anyway, I'm glad nothing more horrible befell the other version of me before he was mercifully terminated.
Merciful, exactly.
Here's what we're going to do. You have to get me to the top of Cruciform Hall. And once up there, I'm going to infiltrate the top of Cruciform Hall and go to a secure floor. Once I'm there, I will acquire the necessary device and come back to you. All of it should take me somewhere between 3 and 6 minutes.
That's pretty fast.
Yes.
And do you know where I take you after?
You can return me to right here. I can make my own way back to the dollar.
Okay. Do you expect any sort of interference that I should know about?
Well, not if everything goes right, no.
Okay, well, let's get to it then.
Up and at them.
Up and at 'em.
Okay, you're going to make a roll to just see if you can kind of get to the roof of Cruciform Hall without alerting anybody to your presence. So I'm going to say that's probably an act under pressure roll. So give me 2d6 plus cool.
That would be a 2.
Perfect. Okay.
Just getting it out of the way.
Getting it out of the way. So, you don't necessarily know how to fly casual or not. You pick up Fletcher, who's remarkably light, maybe 50 pounds at most, and just take off into the sky. It's dark. Not so dark that people can't see you. You're pretty sure that as you're flying up to Cruciform Hall, you kind of see a couple of people that were chasing the last little bits of daylight out on the quad, kind of looking up at a particularly large bird, carrying maybe a very thin 20-something. But sure enough, you get to kind of hovering above the top of Cruciform Hall. Now, everything I'm about to say happens really, really fast. The roof of Cruciform Hall is not a roof. It's this giant series of spires. Like these 4 gorgeous spires, a tower in the middle with spires, all of this interesting architecture. The roofs are all cool and interesting. There's no place to land. Until, of course, you realize all of those spires are not real. It is a giant sustained glamour illusion. And once you realize that's the case, all the spires go away. And so Cruciform Hall is no longer this like cathedral shaped with a super tall spired roof. It's pretty much cathedral shaped for the first 40 feet. And then the top 2 floors is just like a gray box. And you see, when you see through the spires and you see that, sure enough, there's like just one of those like kind of slanted doors on the roof. There are cameras up here, but they're pointing down. So you land on this roof, and sure enough, Fletcher kind of you unhand him, and Fletcher on like lightly metallic tapping feet kind of glides across the roof to the kind of the locked door. It's got looks like an electronic lock on it of some kind. And he just kind of like looks at it for a second and kind of presses his palm into it. And after a couple of seconds, there's a series of like little quiet beeps, and then whoop, door opens. Fletcher then turns to you like very unnaturally, like his body's still looking forward, and he kind of cocks his head to the side, and you see out like a tiny bit of one eye, and he holds up, 3, 6, and then whoosh, vanishes. Door closes.
I position myself by the door, back to it. And I look at my watch.
2d6 plus sharp. Read a bad situation.
5.
Okay. Everything appears to be going okay. You got up here, no problem. And you've started kind of counting the time. 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Okay, any time now. You take a step back from the door. 6 minutes. 6:30. 7 minutes. 7:30. What do you do?
I open the door at 8.
Okay. You're inside. There's, you walk down like a flight of metal stairs down to like the top floor. There's another door. It's, looks like it's a fire door, like an alarm would go off, but the alarm's been disabled with like a wire unattached. So you think that was Fletcher doing that. So you open that, there's no alarm. And you start kind You know that there's glamour going on in here. And you think it's a second effect. Give me a 2d6 plus weird.
That's a 12.
Okay. So you know what the effect is. This building has 2 layers of glamour on it. The first is that glamour hides 2 invisible floors. You are on one of them. And the second is that the invisible floors make you feel like you're being watched.
Ha, but you're not.
But you're not. Like, you walk in and you are, like, you feel a sense of, like, the same kind of vibe as if you were, like, standing in the middle of the library with 100 people looking at you. And then it passes as if it was a dream you woke up from. Oh, right. Okay. And yeah, you start kind of walking your way around. There's it's a relatively unadorned kind of place. Like it's kind of, the hole is just like a big, kind of rectangle. It's just like one hole. And then in the middle, like from connecting holes, is like a bank of very secure elevators that look like they have passcodes and all that stuff. Like on one side. On the other side, there's just like a giant door. It looks like a cargo elevator or something. But yeah, that's in like the middle of the floor. And then there's everything else is like offices. There are like signs up, got like fire safety and things. It just looks like an ultra banal underground office. Only it's 5 stories or 6 stories up. It's because there are no windows or anything. The
No lights
doors,
on.
no. The doors all have nameplates and all of that. But you're not entirely sure kind of what the issue is. You kind of do a full loop, and all right, give me 2d6 plus sharp again. Let's see if you see it.
8.
All right. Yeah. Okay. It's dark up here. Lights do eventually turn on under motion sensor. So it's like they're almost like these really kind of faint, almost like emergency lights. And you see like a pile of what looks like clothes or trash yet to be taken out or something in front of one of the doors, one of the office doors. You get close enough to realize it is not trash. It is what is left of Fletcher. He appears to have been bisected. So there's like the top half of him and the bottom half of him, and everything that was in the middle is now a pile on the floor, like a greasy, oily pile.
I don't like that. I'm going to take my true form.
Yeah, like just like an angelic form, armor, floating eyes, everything.
Yeah, everything.
Okay.
I don't know, something about this place.
Yeah. Yeah, so you are now clad in the resplendent armor of a war angel. There are like eyes just kind of floating like satellites around your head. You have a flaming sword.
Anyone who looks at me feels like they're being watched.
Yeah. Okay. You're like trying to do the math in your head of like, okay, well, Fletcher's been destroyed. I don't know what that means exactly right now. You do see the door, though. The door that Fletcher was in front of is, there's like an old kind of like metal plate embedded in the door. It says Kendrick, Professor Kendrick. That's definitely where you have to go. The door is held shut with some kind of electronic lock. The sense you get, maybe, because you got a partial when you saw him, best guess is somehow he put in the wrong code or something. Why that would result in him exploding, you don't know. Well,
I need to get through that door.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to power my way through it.
All right. 2d6 plus tough, please.
That's a 10.
All right. Terrific. Flaming sword clad in angelic armor. You lower a shoulder and smash the pommel through the lock. The door blows open, it shears off its hinges. It is now merely the concept of a door that was. And you are in an office. Just so you know, on the second partial success you get, you will deal with whatever destroyed Fletcher.
Okay.
So you are now in an office that isn't so much an office as like a room full of file cabinets. There's a computer, big like vacuum tube monitor surrounded by giant tower hard drives. It looks like a pile of 10, 20-year-old servers sitting on a table. It's completely surrounded by gray metal filing cabinets. There's a dehumidifier running in here, and like an air purifier. And you're trying to figure out what exactly it is. You know that it's information. You know that it's like a thumb drive or something that needs to be downloaded onto a thumb drive or something like that. You know it has to do with art. Beyond that, you don't know. So what do you want to do?
I want to go back to the what's left of Fletcher and see if I can find any sort of communication device that he uses between the Fletchers to try to get in contact with a different Fletcher.
Got it. Good idea.
They seem to share information.
That they do. All right. That's going to be...
And I'm going to go back to my human form because I'm feeling a little silly.
2d6 plus sharp. I'm going to give you a +1 too.
9.
That's your first partial. But it's enough. Fletcher has... you hold up what's left of his face. It looks like when... Like the thing that, like the killing blow, so to speak, was him kind of getting bisected from like here down to his waist. So he got kind of ripped in half. His head, though, the whole back of his head is gone. So you're kind of fishing around in there. And sure enough, there's this tiny little, looks like a little communications earpiece. Not that it fits in an ear, he didn't technically have ears, but it's the same kind of thing. There's like a speaker on it and stuff like that. And you kind of like get it into your ear. And you hear the voice of a Fletcher in there.
Fletcher? This is Fletcher. This is Mission Fletcher to any other Fletcher.
This is Fletcher. I hear you, Darby?
Yes, this is Darby. Fletcher is gone. I need information. Do you have information about the mission he was on with me?
I certainly do.
I need to know where to find the information that we're here for.
Within Fletcher's hand is a thumb drive. Fletcher's mind was going to try to crack the password of the mainframe. And then Fletcher, after the mainframe password was cracked, would look through to try to download anything related to religious art, specifically divine inspiration.
Fine inspiration.
It seems, based on the fact that you're using an emergency communication device, that Fletcher's head exploded.
Yes.
That means that he can no longer crack the code, which means that you probably need to. The thumb drive still works, though, so I would recommend severing his hand and preparing to stuff it into the computer's mainframe.
Okay. Do you have any tips on hacking? This is not a thing I've done before. Sort of more of a...
For something that a not Fletcher could do, I don't know. I would say brute force solve it by applying the power of your quantum computing brain to eventually overload and bypass security, but I don't think you can do that because you're not me. So my guess would be to guess some passwords.
Got it. I might end up going with some sort of brute force that's not quantum computing. Okay, thank you so much for the information. I am going to figure this out.
Best of luck.
Over and out.
Do you rip off Fletcher's hand?
Oh, I do. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't even get out my sword. I just...
You twist and crunch at the sound of like hollow aluminum bones start like shattering and splintering.
Sorry, Fletch.
And yeah, sure enough, like the hand itself, like the ring finger can be like removed and it's just like a thumb drive.
Mm-hmm.
So you walk back into Professor Kendrick's archive room and, turn on the computer and whoop, password screen.
Okay. I look around the office to see if I can find any pictures of perhaps children or pets.
Yeah, good idea. Give me a 2d6 plus sharp. This is an investigate a mystery roll.
10.
Okay, you can ask 2 questions from investigate a mystery.
Okay. What would be... what here is not what it seems.
One of the filing cabinets. So all of the filing cabinets have lots and lots and lots of Professor Kendrick's notes. And the thing about Professor Kendrick, you see, is that he is an incredibly prolific scholar of religious art. And so a lot of these are drawings and notes from him traveling the world and researching pieces. There are various like artifacts and like kind of gewgaws in there, like all various random things, as well as a collection of all of his books, printouts of his articles, as well as a lot of raw research. Except for one drawer in one filing cabinet, and that's his personal effects. And in that, it looks like someone probably like cleaned out his desk and put it in a drawer. And the things that you see in there are 2 very small statues, like souvenir sized. One of the statue of David and one of La Pietà.
La Pietà. Okay. Any post-its or anything?
Yeah, there's a book in here. It is a hyper detailed, like drafting book of the Sistine Chapel ceiling. And it is covered in post-its that have nothing to do with the Sistine Chapel ceiling. It's just stuff like go pick up dry cleaning and things like that, like random notes from a life.
Oh, okay.
But it's in a book about the Sistine Chapel.
Any of them happen to be not to-do list items?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay. I get one more?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What happened here?
Professor Orville Fletcher worked at Chestnut Hill University for 50 years as a tenured professor. He died 10 years ago. The sense you get is the amount of his work that he ultimately shared with the world is probably 5%.
Wow.
So what that means is this room, for those that are interested in incredibly esoteric studies of religious art, is a treasure trove. Because there is stuff here that is not in the broad human consciousness.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Did I say Orville Fletcher? I meant Orville Kendrick.
Oh. Orville Kendrick. Whoa! I am so sorry. Okay. So we got 2 little statues. Bunch of Post-its. None of them have anything that's definitely a password. Well, I'm going to start with just putting in the names of those statues into the password and just seeing. What was it was David and...
The David and the Pietà.
The Pietà. I'll start with the second one.
Pietà. Boop. 2 attempts remaining.
No, okay. This is not my forte. Computers. Okay.
Let's switch. War is hell. There are explosions of blazer lights. Francine Clock's boyfriend's beau second date is doing his best, but that man has taken more blazer rounds to the chest than should be allowed.
I have a question about that man.
Yeah.
It's canon that Francine Clock is a member of the Mystic River Yacht Club, right?
That is correct.
And so is Bill O'Donoghue, right?
Bill O'Donoghue, yeah, the current mayor of Somerville.
Yeah. Is Bill O'Donoghue on our team?
Do you want him to be?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course he is. So yeah, you are engaged in futuristic laser combat with your comrade in arms, the mayor of Somerville, Bill O'Donoghue. And yeah, sure enough, he's great. The entire time he is talking your ear off. Zlobs, you are hurling grenades. At one point in like the din where everyone's reloading and recharging, Bill is like crouched behind a pillar putting down suppressing fire. And Morgan, you're there behind like a portable shield, like firing. And he looks at you. So, here things are heating up in the Somerville High School Student Council race.
You got it, Mayor. I've got a tough competition on my hands. Almost as tough as Mrs. Clock over there. Gotcha.
Yeah. She's good at fundraising. She's good at grants management. She is very bad at protecting her flank.
I could use some tips sometime from you, Mayor.
Oh, sure. Well, as she crosses left to right, that's when you could shoot her in the side, because she doesn't seem to know that she's down a corridor.
No, about politics, Mayor.
Oh, well, sure. All right. Best thing to do is never lie. Here's why. If you don't lie, it's a lot easier to keep track of what you said.
Fair enough. I'll never lie. I don't do that anyway.
And the other thing, too, is to realize that politics takes time, and sometimes losing a race isn't the worst thing. I say this because there's been only one freshman student council president in the history of the Somerville Magnet School.
Who?
Okay.
Who?
Watch your back.
Who was it?
Who was it?
Who was it?
Who was it?
He's on your team right now, charging ahead with Morgan Woodstock. Yeah, the two of them make like a make a brave like uphill charge. You are fighting in a part of the Blazer Tag underground dome that's meant to look like the ruins of Revolutionary War era Boston. So like collapsed brick buildings. So Morgan and Bill O'Donoghue are like vaulting over half collapsed walls. Zlobs, you're hurling grenades. Mindy, you're in ductwork. You're just crawling through ductwork right now because you're intel.
In the ducts.
Oh yeah. So
love it.
you because your intel is so good, you ultimately like drop down behind enemy lines, run up to their base, start peppering it with oh no, not this. You start stabbing the base. You're stabbing the base with the knife and racking up points.
Actually, a question on that. Have we achieved 15 kills yet?
Yeah, you're at 15 now.
Okay, I like to order airstrike at the Old North Church ruins.
Mm-hmm. And sure enough, you call it just like airstrike, and then of course that super awesome, ultra dramatic baritone voice is like, sounds like someone called an airstrike. And sure enough, like thunder crackles from the old dusty speakers overhead, and sure enough, a handful of blazer grenades fall from the ceiling. You hear the perfunctory screams in the distance. You look down at your wrist, and your kill count's gone from 15 to 20. Yeah. Push ahead, everybody! Go, go, go!
Oh, 15. I order a supply drop then.
Yep. It looks like a parachute, but it's just like lowered on fishing line. Just this like little box. Yeah. And Vespa's smiling and laughing and
nice
and giving a war cry. At one point, Mindy, you're like stabbing the enemy base, racking up points.
Yes.
When, Francine Clock kind of spins around a corner, gets ready to bullseye you before, boom, her blazer gun turns off. And you see behind her that Vespa got her right in the shoulder blades. Keep going, you're doing great.
Thanks, Vespa.
All right. One of you, whoever's feeling lucky, give me a 2d6 plus tough.
Tough, but Darby's not here.
Fine, I won't roll it tough then.
No, you roll it.
You want me to roll it tough?
You're obviously the best person out of the people who are here to do it.
Hey, there's no best. There's only team.
Okay,
best
sorry.
Team, and we're the best team.
You're part of the team, so you roll it. It's okay to miss Darby sometimes. What did you roll?
12.
Nah.
All right. Get out of here.
Come on.
We jump forward in time about an hour and a half. All of you are wearing sashes that say winner on them. You're in the squeeze. Not the squeeze easy, the squeeze. Bright lights, diner vibe. You're all drinking smoothies. Vespa hasn't said anything for as long as you've been here. But it's not out of sadness or awkwardness. She's just there with like a contented, smiling look on her face.
Hey, Vespa?
Yeah, Morgan.
I'm glad you were on our team today. That was some really good, covering fire, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
It felt good to help, have a purpose.
Yeah.
It won't be the last time.
She gets up to go to the restroom. The three of you raise a toast. Back at Chestnut Hill University. 2 password attempts left.
Yeah, I take the 2 little statues, I put them on the desk, and I pull up an office chair and spin around. Okay, fellas, you're gonna help me out. And I out my brasswood flute. Let's see if you're both. Maybe there's more to you. I don't know. You kind of look like you. Looks like there's something behind their eyes. We'll see. I just start playing my brasswood flute.
2d6 plus cool.
3.
All right. Yeah, you're like, your face like, will they answer? Like, are these a lie? Like, what is? And you're playing the flute. So yeah, failure will count as the other partial success.
Mm-hmm.
You hear a ding from the hallway. Boom, boom. And the sound of elevator doors opening. But not little elevator doors, regular elevator doors. The big cargo doors.
I draw my sword and creep toward the door.
You poke your head out, looking at the hallway with like the T intersection that goes to the elevator. What's coming for you is not subtle. What's coming for you is an 8-foot tall marble statue of the angel Michael.
What?
Striding down the hallway with lifeless eyes focused directly on you. It will be here in 5 seconds.
Okay, I take my true form again. Doesn't feel so silly this time.
Nope. Okay. Yeah, its shadow darkens the door. It is so large that it does not enter the room. It simply waits for you outside.
Mm-hmm. I rush all of my energy into it, like into the statue.
Are you trying to get past it, or are you trying to hurt it? All right, that's definitely going to be a kick some butt roll. 2d6 plus tough.
It's a 14.
Okay. So on a 12 plus, you either deal double damage or you take no damage. The target's not going to flee. It literally can't. So you're going to choose between double damage and no damage.
No damage for myself or double.
No damage for yourself, yeah.
Yeah, no damage for myself. Yeah.
Got it. Your flaming sword does
3.
3. Okay. It has an armor of 2. So you do 1 damage to it. You run up to this thing, barrel down, try to like slam into the middle of it, smash it with the sword. It's knocked backwards 6 or so inches. Its arms kind of go wide. It's moving, writhing marble. It's like halo crowned head like stares back down at you and just comes in again. What do you do?
I duck and I yell at it. Do you want to be a real angel?
Are you trying to intimidate it?
I'm trying to intimidate it. And just kind of like confuse it if it does have any sort of mind, which I don't know if it does.
Gotcha. This is the way to find out, to be sure. This will be a manipulate someone roll, so that's going to be 2d6 plus charm. Tell me what you get.
6.
Okay. So you kind of scream at it. I was like, do you want to be a real angel? It reaches out with its hand and wraps it around your face, yanks you into the hole, and smashes you into the wall. You take 2 harm minus armor.
So Okay, so 1. Is that right? Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Okay, well that didn't really work. So I'm now treating this as a beast of some sort. So I'm gonna try to. I'm just gonna go after it with my flaming sword. I'm gonna get myself up off of the floor, take a few steps back, and then take a running start and just charge at it with my sword in front of me.
Yep, this is just a full-on charging, lunging, holy attack. 2d6 plus tough.
10.
All right. You can do 1 additional damage, take 1 less damage, gain +1 on your next roll, or put the target right where you want it.
Do 1 additional damage.
Got it. All right, so you're going to do 4 damage to it, minus its armor of 2 is 4. It's going to do 2 harm back to you. Yeah, you come down with the wrathful smite of a war angel and kind of bury your flaming sword in its shoulder, shattering marble. Like there's a great crack running down its abdomen now. It kind of responds by kind of parrying away your second attack and smashing you across the face with a heavy marbled fist.
This time, I got enough in me to try to banish it.
Okay. Cast out evil. So this presupposes it's an unnatural creature. So I don't actually know if it is or not, because that's the thing. This thing appears to be a holy simulacrum or golem made by the folks at Chestnut Hill University, presumably. So it, on one hand, it belongs here. On the other hand, it could be powered by a spirit that's not from here. So to see if you can cast it out, I will say it's going to be a 2d6 plus tough roll. Just put a -1 on it because we just don't know.
8.
Okay. The creature is banished, but it takes a few moments. So yeah, you kind of run up to it and, you know, you're in angelic form. Like you kind of like yell the incantations and like, you know, like the ancient inhuman missives necessary to do this. Like if you were doing this to like a living sentient being with a soul, it would literally see a cloud of eyes with a screaming mouth that holds the power of the cosmos. But it doesn't have eyes. So all it's doing is getting buffeted by holy force that overwhelms whatever force is in it. This thing is going to be gone in a few seconds. But what that means is it's going to attack you at least one more time. Mm-hmm. So you have to go through one more round of combat to see what happens. So you think the banishing is working. You think its hold is starting to loose itself. You take one more harm because your banishing ends when it takes its brass sword and kind of like slices you across the leg. So that's one harm net of your armor. So one after that, because it's always doing 2. All right, one more round. If you get a partial or a full success, it's going to be banished. If not, it will be banished the next time you get a partial or a full.
Okay. I'm going to flip my sword to the butt of it. And just come down on it.
Yeah, just big old smash to the dome of this thing. 2d6 plus tough.
8.
Okay. So it's going to do harm to you again. One more harm. Like you can feel whatever is powering this thing is starting to kind of like evaporate off of it. And to hasten it on its way, you kind of pommel strike it square in the head. You do that, and its head kind of splits open. There's a Blaseball-sized chunk of marble missing. It's like staring at you with these like empty, hollow, white marble eyes. And then just as soon as that happens, it stops moving. It freezes in whatever exact position it was and falls backwards, smashing itself through the plaster wall.
Whoa.
So now this 8-foot statue is just halfway through the wall. You are badly hurt. Are you unstable yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in the building you hear an alarm. You don't know what that means right this second.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you do?
I come back to my human form and I fully feel that when I'm unstable and kind of it's not like I can really completely stay in my true form. And I hobble back to the computer and I just type in password 1, enter.
Boop. One left.
Shit. I pull out look at that book again with the Post-its, and flip until I can see if maybe there's just one that's a blank Post-it.
You're leafing through the book. Sistine Chapel pictures, drafts, things like that. And you let yourself sit in the memory for a second. Yeah, sure enough. It seemed like yesterday and a million years ago. But it was, about 500 years ago, something like that, 550. You went to the Vatican. You and Maeve. Winked in for a second. Looked up at the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel as it was being painted. It was a man, an older man, on his back, up in rickety scaffolding doing it. You and Maeve were visible. You let yourselves be visible. You remember dressing as peasants. You were carrying a clay jug of water. She was carrying bread. Maeve understood the dancing chronology of being an angel a little better than you. She always did. She was always so smart. This is going to be a very important building when it's done.
It is beautiful.
They're trying to capture what they know of us. What a gift that is.
Yeah, and here we are trying to understand just a little piece of them.
To understand the people that are trying to understand you. How poetic.
Yeah.
To dedicate our lives to trying to understand them. To be a scholar of their condition. Just as that man is up there on the scaffolding.
And what's amazing to me is that we can see them. We know that they're real. And some of them are acting on faith. In some ways, they're as powerful as we are.
In some ways. The loaf of bread she's holding kind of flickers into her flaming sword for a second, and then back to bread. but not always. And she kind of taps you on the shoulder. She leaves the bread on a pulley, and you put down your carafe of water on it. The man up there says thank you. And you wink back out into the immaterial and timeless, having just seen Michelangelo working on his masterpiece. And you're back in the present. One password left.
I type in Michelangelo.
Boop. You download. And you get out of there. We'll end it right there.
Fletcher with me.
You do.
Yeah, Darby saw the freaking Sistine Chapel being painted. Yep, it's canon.
Yeah.
In some ways, she helped. She brought a pail of water.
Michelangelo was thirsty and hungry. You know, by the end of his life, he could only paint while laying down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he couldn't
That
paint
makes a lot of
sitting up
sense.
anymore.
Whew.
Well, that's probably
So,
it.
is
Yeah.
there a
Is there a...
Yeah, right.
Well, yeah, right. You probably have this written down.
The clock apartment.
Oh.
Some hours later, that night.
Oh. Was it a good date?
Francine Clock closes the front door and then does the thing where she leans against it for a second and kind of smiles into the middle distance and then walks in. Eleanor, I'm home and I brought Chinese food. Thanks, Mom. And she goes upstairs.
Challenge
The very same. The best in Somerville. And she
Is that you writing to make a canon?
I gotta do it really quick.
Wait, it's probably Chlow and Joy.
It's I'm gonna come up with a name and it's gonna be great.
did Wang's also close down in this Somerville?
No, Blittle League Somerville is a better Somerville than ours.
In this blessed universe of our creation,
In
Wang's
this
is still
blessed
open.
universe, it's still open.
Something has to be better in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Deep Somerville lore.
Yeah. So, Francine walks in, and sitting on the floor of Eleanor Clock's bedroom are her friends, Neela Nightmare and Kestrel Pierce. They are looking at a pile of schematics and a list of people. Half of those names are crossed out in red. We'll end it right there.
Wait, what's the schematics of? What is it schematics of?
It's dark when Darby lands in front of her house in Somerville. Wincing at her pain, holding her chest, she walks up to the door and she sees a large wooden box across the sidewalk. It is bejeweled in garish tones of yellow and red and lightning blue. She opens the box to see the sort of balacious energy. She picks it up. It zaps in her hands. And then she is surrounded by people with laser rifles.